I want to talk about a beginner mistake that a lot of newbie to intermediate ad copywriters make consistently. In fact, this is something that I think a lot of more advanced copywriters still do not understand. So, what is it? Well, it's the idea of copying formulas and using tactics by following formats or headline formulas or scripts rather than a overall strategic approach to the entire initiative. So I just threw a lot of fancy words out. All I really mean is that you really have to understand that simply copying other headlines that worked and trying to take them for your own in your own industry or company usually does not work. It is one of the lowest tier, or I would call it low to mid tier copywriting, because it's a very simple tactic. Anyone can do it. They just copy a headline or script that works, such as here's a famous one: they laughed when I sat down at the piano, but then when I started to play ... That was a very successful, curiosity provoking headline that worked for a piano lesson ad. Now the problem with that is that people would try and copy that, and that is a huge mistake, because what you're doing by just trying to copy the format or formula for that headline and use it for your own is that you're forgetting why that ad, or you don't understand why that ad was truly successful. That ad had strategy behind it. It wasn't just because it used a curiosity-provoking headline that provoked interest, or it wasn't just because they rearranged a couple words and they made it work. Those tactics help, but the overall strategy behind it was that these people understood where the prospect was in the customer journey, how much they knew about their company, their product, what they knew about the competition. These ad copywriters understood what they had to say, how they were to present it, what positioning that they had to use with this ad to get it to stand out and differentiate from what the other prospects knew. These ad copywriters did their research, so they knew what made a prospect convert. What did a prospect and customer care about when they wanted to buy piano lessons? They knew and understood that a part of it was that they want to be envied. They want to be that person who can show off to other people, because there's many motivations out there for why someone wants to play piano. Maybe it's just for personal mastery. Maybe it's to show off to others. Maybe it's to attract a girl. Therefore, it's really important to do your research and strategically understand and capture that motivation, which is something that a lot of beginner and intermediate copywriters do not do. Instead, they make it up. They assume, oftentimes wrongly, what the prospect wants. Then they appeal to the complete wrong motivations or appeals. And that's a huge problem, because human motivation cannot be created. It can only be identified and channeled correctly. That's a huge fundamental part of any type of salesmanship, marketing, persuasion, or any of that. So in conclusion, if you were to use such an ad and just copy it, or use these headline formulas or headline generators that Russell Brunson or ClickFunnels or the free ones like Portent or Sumos, that will only get you so far. It will help. It'll be better than nothing. It will give you new ideas for different ways you can position your appeal for your article or your ad, but they will not bring you to the full stretch of where you can go. They will not bring what potentially you can capture in terms of traffic or sales. So think about that, because there will be people, whether it's people who sell cigars or people who sell bicycles or something else who try and copy these formats and say, oh, I'm going to use the same thing. I'm going to write a headline that says, they laughed when I lit my cigar, but then when it started smoking, and it won't work because they don't understand the strategy behind it. They're not looking at all the other pieces and factors that go into the success of a strategy. And of course, copying other people and duplicating what they do has their place. But the drawback to it is that sometimes you only can see the front end of it. And that's what competitors want. They don't want you to know all the back end and the strategy that goes behind what you see in the store. And therefore, if you just copy the front end, not knowing that there's upsells or downsells or something else going on, you can lose money, even though it appears that you're doing the same thing. And of course, because competitors want to keep and expand their competitive advantage, they're not going to tell you. So copying has its place, but oftentimes when you are doing it in ad copywriting, it will backfire.